now that we have our Facebook page up and running and our page has some content on it, it's optimized, now it might be time for us to start putting some money behind our Facebook presence. What this means is we are going to get in and designate some different things that we want to run as sponsored content. Basically just kind of showing our ads or our Facebook page to people who might not see it otherwise. The way that we do that is through what Facebook calls the Ad Manager. You'll click that little drop down arrow in the top right corner and go down here to create ads. This takes us into, like I said, what is called the Facebook Ads Manager. Now, since I have run ads before, my account is already populated. If you haven't run ads, it will probably just pop up with some information that you need to input, maybe your credit card. I think that they'll go ahead and ask you to attach a payment method right off the bat. Again, because I have run ads out of this specific ad manager, I already have all of that set up. But it may prompt you to enter that information, and that would be totally fine if it did. First up right here, we're going to choose our marketing objective. As you can see, Facebook gives you a lot of different options for your marketing objective with your ad. If you have a question on any particular one, you can click this little information icon and it gives you a little bit more explanation. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to show you two different ad types today. Basically, the reason I'm choosing these two is only because I feel like they're the most simple and they're the most effective based on my experience and from what I've seen. So, first up, we're going to choose under the consideration objective, we're going to choose traffic. Once we click traffic, it's going to bring us down and we're going to need to name this ad. I'll show you how Facebook breaks up these different campaigns. First, it's going to ask you for a campaign name, then it's going to ask you for an ad set, and then it's going to ask you for an ad name. So really, you're putting about 3 different titles in here to just this one ad. I'll tell you how I do it, but just know that it can be done anyway, and it's really not going to affect your ad placement, more of just how it's organized. So typically whenever it's campaign, I just name this particular thing whatever the ad is that I'm running. So this particular objective, I've chosen traffic, so I just name my campaign traffic. And you'll see how I specify it here in just a second when we have to name the ad set and the ad name. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to do an ad for an open house. So I've signed up for a couple of different open houses this weekend and I want to promote that on my Facebook page. So what I'll do is I'm going to name this ad set Open Houses. And my computer is a dinosaur. Sorry, you guys. Alright, so after I've named that ad set, I'm going to go down and I'm just going to basically fill out what Facebook's asking me to do. Where do I want my traffic to go? Am I wanting to direct it to a website? Am I wanting to take it into an app? If you have your app created, maybe you want to direct traffic there. Or maybe you want to send people to message your page. Best practice is to send them to your website just so that they can get a little bit more information. Within your app or within Messenger, they may not be able to get as much information as what they could with your website. So that's typically what I would recommend, is to direct traffic to your website. Offer, if you have a specific offer you'd like to designate, you can do that here. I'm not really quite sure what kind of offer or incentive we would have for an open house. Maybe I'm going to have a drawing or something like that. If I wanted to include that as part of this ad, I can do that here. Audience is the next section. Audience can be really awesome because you can be very specific in your targeting. So first up, if I have a saved audience, I can select that, but since this is a brand new campaign, I don't have a saved audience. You'll see where I have the option to save the audience I create here in just a second, but we're going to start by creating a new audience. First, what I want you to do is click location. Here we're going to choose where we want our ad to be shown. You'll notice by default, the United States is what Facebook selects. We don't want the United States to be targeted because think about that. We don't want our open houses in Midland, Texas to be shown to somebody in Portland, Maine. So what you'll want to do is get in here and type where exactly you want your ad to be shown. You can click just on Midland, you can add Odessa, you can add Andrews, and then you can choose a mile radius. 10 miles is the minimum. If you want to go all the way up to 50, you can do that as well. Just keep in mind, the smaller the area that you designate for your ad, the further your money is going to go. So if I just want my ad to be shown in Midland, I have that designated. I'm going to continue to just go down. If I have a lot of locations that I want to target, maybe surrounding Permian Basin, and I have a lot, then I could click this add locations in bulk, and that's going to allow me to upload several at one time. Just saves you a little bit of time. Keep in mind as we work our way down the page, anytime you have a question about a specific thing, you can click on that information button, that icon, and it will show you what that means. Just in case you're going back through here and aren't clear on what something means. Age, depending on the house that you're or the types of homes that you have open that weekend, maybe they're a little bit more expensive, so you're trying to target maybe a older age bracket. Maybe you're targeting new home buyers with this ad. Again, it really just kind of depends on what you want to do and what you feel like is best for the situation. This particular ad set, I'll target 25 to 40. Maybe I'm looking for a new home buyer. I can target my gender. Keep in mind on this, of course it's up to you, but don't just think about your buyer or your seller. Think about friends that are going to see this ad with a friend in mind and comment their name on the post. I know that you'll see that pretty often. People see an ad and they tag somebody in the post. What they're doing is basically saying, hey, this agent has a house listed, check it out. So that being said, you may not always want to target just home buyers or just a certain gender or just a certain language. Just keep that in mind. You can be very specific, but you also don't want to limit yourself. And once you run a couple of ads, you'll be able to see what performs best, and then you can kind of go from there whenever you create future ad sets. So gender, I'm going to choose all. Language, if I only speak English, then I may only want to designate English for a language, just because I wouldn't want somebody Spanish speaking to contact me and me not know what they're saying. Again, just a personal preference. If you have somebody on your team or somebody you could refer a Spanish speaking person to, then go for it. Just another option that you have of many. Detailed targeting. This one gets pretty cool because you can really start to narrow it down by demographics, interests, or behaviors. For example, maybe you are wanting to look for someone buying a home. That's not what I would put. Facebook finds this information just based on the data they collect. So anytime you're selecting one of these, here's Trulia Real Estate. So for example, this Trulia Real Estate, this is going to target people who have maybe followed Trulia on Facebook or interacted with Trulia in some way. And then Facebook has then captured that person's data and put it into this particular targeting group. That's how that usually works. Maybe investment property. Some of these you may have to kind of search for as opposed to just typing in, because it really kind of depends on what you're looking for on how easy it is to find. Whenever you're looking through here and you select one, it's kind of cool to be able to see how many people are in that specific interest group and how it's described. And you'll see that off to the side. If you would rather just browse, you can do that for sure. Suggestions, after I have selected a couple of these different interests, then Facebook will give me some suggestions. Homes.com, that would be a great one. Realtor.com, New Home, Zillow, Property Investment. These are all really good suggestions just based off what I've previously selected. So I feel like that's a good start, but of course you can go through and add as many of those interests as you want to, and then Facebook generates this estimated reach and link click. You'll see that reach and link click. This is on a daily basis. So with what I have selected so far, Facebook is estimating that I'll reach anywhere from 630 people to 2,300 people and get approximately 5 to 30 clicks on my link. If I want to exclude certain people, maybe I want to exclude other real estate agents, I could try to do that by using that hyperlink right there, just by clicking into that and doing a process similar to like we did above. Connection type. This is where you can narrow your targeting even further, if you can believe it, by going in and saying, I want this ad to be shown to people who like my page already, friends of people who like my page, or maybe I don't want people who like my page to see this. I want to target a whole new audience. The people who like my page don't need to see this ad. I could exclude them from this ad set. All different options here. Apps and events, same exact way. If I want to create an ad to people who have responded to my event, I could do that. Or if I wanted to exclude them, the option's there for that as well. Like I mentioned earlier, after you create this audience, as you can tell, it can take a little bit of time. And if you don't want to have to do that every single time, you can simply click Save This Audience and then name it whatever you want. So I'll put Open House New Home Buyer. I'll see the interest, all of the things that I've already designated are all saved right there. I've named my audience. I'm going to save it and I'll be able to use it again. Now, coming down here, well, placements is our next section. You can choose to place your ad basically yourself and choose where you're going to put the ad. I have never manually placed my ads on Facebook. I just let Facebook automatically place them because that's the recommended option. Wherever they perform best is where Facebook's going to place them, and I trust their judgment on that. So I would encourage you to just click that recommended option of automatic placement rather than you having to go in and place them all yourself. It will be far more effective if you just let Facebook do it. Budget and schedule. This is probably the most important part because Facebook can sometimes give you a default budget of, right now it's only doing $15, which isn't bad, but it could give me a lifetime budget of $150 or even $1,500. You surely want to check and make sure what Facebook has for this budget and change it according to your own budget. So right here you'll see that you can designate either a lifetime budget or a daily budget. This really just kind of depends on what you're doing. If you only want to run the ad for a day, then you may want to do a daily budget. If you want to run it for a few days, I would also recommend a daily budget option. For our training purposes, this demonstration today using an open house, I would say daily budget because I'm only going to plan to run this ad for a few days. So I'm going to put $10 a day, and I'm going to set a start and end date of today and run it till the 28th at 2:00 p.m. Let's say that's right when my last open house begins. So I am running it for just a couple of days. I'll spend about $30, a little less than $30, $22.71. Facebook will show you exactly how much that you plan to spend. That's something you just want to check and make sure is okay with you, looks good, before you click continue. You also have the option to just run your ad set continually and go in and stop it whenever you're ready. I probably wouldn't recommend that just because it's a way that you can spend a lot of money without really realizing it if you forget to go in and turn your ad off for whatever reason. I would always recommend setting a run date or a schedule for your ad. Last but not least, we need to name our ad. So we've named our campaign, which is what we did when we put the objective on. Then we named our ad set, which was open houses. Now this is our last place where we need to name this ad, and we're going to name this as the most specific that we can. So what we'll do here is the date. So that way I'll know that this particular ad, January 26th through 28th, is the open houses that belong to the traffic objective of this ad. Basically, it's just another way of breaking it down. Again, keep in mind, don't get too caught up on naming your campaign and your ad set in your ad. This is just me showing you how I do it, but no way is going to mess up your placement. So now we're going to come in here and we're going to click the Facebook page that we want to represent just by that drop down arrow. Kelsey Razier, Keller Williams Realty, make sure that's correct. And then we get to go down here and select our format. Format's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to choose how you want your ad to look. You can create anything that you want. I mean, really just kind of based on what you have and what you want your ad to display like. If I were to walk through every single one of these, it would take me an awfully long time, and they're pretty self-explanatory. If you have a video, this is an awesome way to promote your video. Maybe you have a slideshow, you want to create a slideshow with some pictures that you just got for a new listing. You can do that and it displays in a video format. A collection of photos, kind of like a photo album. And then of course there's the single image option and the carousel option. I really like this carousel option, especially for open houses that we're going to do, and I'll show you exactly why. So first up, I'm going to add my text. Just a general little line of text explaining what my ad's about. And then I'll be able to drop down into my carousel and select the pictures that I want to show up in my ad. So you see I come down here, I'm destination, I'm going to put my website URL, which I'm going to get in here to my website that I have set up. I'm going to grab that link to my site so that I can pop over in here and put it into my ad manager. You can go ahead and just put your URL in here, and then it will automatically generate whatever images you have on your site right here in that image. Unfortunately, because I don't have any images on my website yet, you're not going to see those automatically generated images. But like I said, if I do have one, you'll see them pop up right here. But because I don't have one, I'm going to get in and I'm going to add pictures. I have just a couple of stock photos saved for this demonstration that I'm going to upload just by dragging and dropping. Of course, if I want to choose a picture from my library, I can do that as well. You'll see we're on our first card of our little carousel. That's what that 1 means. Image, I've uploaded my image. I want to add a headline of 1, 2, 3 Fantastic Street, open Sunday, 1 to 2. I have my destination URL. If I'd like to designate a URL for people to see even more than what's on my destination URL, maybe I have a link to this specific page, then I can put that there. If not, I think this is pretty good. I have the choice to put a button here. Maybe I want to click learn more, maybe I want it to say contact us, maybe I don't want it to have a button at all. That would be just fine. Either way, if you click on this image, even if it doesn't have a button, if you click on that image, it's going to take you straight to the URL that we designated earlier, that URL for my website. I can see how that looks by looking at this preview right here. It will show you a mobile preview, it will show you a desktop preview, basically any placement that Facebook could give you, it will show you a preview of. That's what it looks like, looks good. I do have a second open house this weekend, so I'm going to click on that second card. I'll add a new image and do the same process over again. One more time. If I need to crop the image, you'll see that I can do so. Headline, this one is 456 Fabulous Street. Open house Sunday 3 to 4. Destination URL, my website. Maybe I do want to designate a button. I can preview, see what that looks like. Uh-oh, there's a third image that I don't want there. I only have 2 open houses. I don't want that third image. So I'm just going to click on that number 3, remove. You'll also see whenever I'm looking at this ad preview that there is the last photo is what's called my logo card. So I can remove that by unchecking that box. But honestly, I kind of like to have it there, so after people are done looking at those 2 images, they can automatically see my logo and my information. So I'm going to click that. You'll also see that I have this box checked that says automatically show the best performing cards first. So if Facebook notices after this ad runs for a little bit that Fabulous Street actually is getting more clicks than Fantastic Street, they'll automatically switch the placements of those. So those will swap. Again, that's just something that we trust Facebook to do. It's recommended, so we're just going to go with it. After this, you can certainly get in here and set up any type of conversion tracking. Facebook Pixel, these I would definitely say are more advanced options, and I'd be happy to talk to you more about that if it's something that you're interested in. Basically what this is doing is setting up a pixel that's generated directly from Facebook that you go and you place on your website pages, so you can see specifically what actions people are taking after they click on this Facebook ad, what specifically they do on your website. Honestly, I really think Facebook's Insights tracking gives you more than enough information, so this isn't something you necessarily have to do, but you certainly can if it's something you're interested in. After this, we're going to click Confirm. I'm not going to run this specific ad just because it's a demonstration, but if I were to click Confirm, it's going to come up with a thing saying that my ad has been placed and I'll be notified whenever it's approved. Facebook does require them to approve your ads just to make sure that they aren't profane or you aren't posting ugly pictures or anything like that. Once it's approved by Facebook, it will automatically run according to the date that you set in your scheduling. Okay, so that is what we've done for a traffic ad on Facebook. I'm going to take a break here and then we're going to go into promoting a post.